Number 25 is Immortal, Sons of Northern Darkness. Now, I said this before when I was talking about Satyricons Now Diabolical. That I have this issue with black metal, that I often don't, that I want to like it a lot because it's doing a lot of things and coming from a lot of places which I can relate to, and so I want to like it a lot, but it's very rare for me to actually like a black metal album, particularly, you know, early to mid 90s black metal, second wave black metal, Norwegian kind of albums, because I suppose because the production's so murky and just the sound is so dense and unpenetrable to to unless, you know, it takes some getting used to. It's a very quiet taste, and it's hard for me to acquire the taste, to be honest. So usually I prefer my heaviness to come in the forms of the heavier kinds of doom or death metal. I guess because I suppose the production lets down a lot of black metal, but I don't know what it is. I find it hard to get into a lot of these albums. I don't like Dark Throne at all because I just can't penetrate their music. I can't enjoy it properly. And yeah, so that's a bit annoying. And as a result, it's early Immortal I don't really like as much. Again, I have this problem of I find it hard to actually I find it really hard to get into. So consequently, the Immortal I tend to like is their later stuff. Now, you don't have the same problem with this as you have with Satyricon, because the later Satyricon is kind of black and roll. It's got this kind of groove-iness which upsets the black metal purist. At least later Immortal is kind of credible black metal kind of sound, but they are mixing it a bit with thrash by this stage. But yeah, Sons of Northern Darkness is the Immortal album I like, and it's great, atmospheric, dark black metal stuff, but with better production, more maybe that hint of thrash, not so much as on the what's it called, something about winter. I can't remember the album. Not as much as that. It is more black metal than that, but yeah, Sons of Northern Darkness. I love the album, and I specifically love In My Kingdom Cold, which is another one of those, you know, fuck society, I'm going to be in nature sort of thing. But it's like, I've found this cold, icy kingdom, this is my kingdom where I can rule sort of thing. It feels a bit like the plot to Frozen, amusingly enough. But yeah, that's a great track. And I love the track Antarctica. It's got a lovely, moody, atmospheric beginning to it. But then it's this really, you know, heavy black metal song about Antarctica. Some of the lyrics are quite amusing, but very you can find them amusing if you look at it that way, but it's also quite thrilling and exciting to listen to, about, you know, the coldest place of all, and layers of permafrost, and darkest place of ice, and all this. Talking about Antarctica as this kind of the most black metal place ever, because it's like so cold that nothing can live there, and weird thing in the lyrics about it's going to take over sort of thing. The cold winds of Antarctica spread, and I guess in this time when we're all worried about global warming, it's actually almost quite comforting to hear black metal artists sing about how there's going to be an ice age and the coldness is going to take over. But yes, and just the whole album, Sons of Northern Darkness, is great music throughout. Those are my two favourite tracks of it, In My Kingdom Cold and Antarctica. But yeah, this is why I like Immortal, on the basis of this album basically, Sons of Northern Darkness. It's great. 24. Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. Of course, it had to be this one. It was the highest Iron Maiden one on this list. It had to be this one. This one, of course, has to be on this list. It's a complete classic heavy metal album from 1982, of course. Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. It's the first album Iron Maiden done with Bruce Dickinson on vocals. It's not Nico McBrain on drums yet. It's still Clive Burr. And it's the album really where Iron Maiden went out of their kind of new wave of British heavy metal, kind of heavy metal with a slight little bit of punk to it thing, into their like proper like epic kind of classic heavy metal kind of sound, their signature Iron Maiden sound that made them like a machine of classic heavy metal. This album, of course, I mean, there are some weak tracks. The opener, Invaders, is a bit weak, and you know, Gangland is a little weak in a way, although it's sometimes when I'm in the mood for it, it does grab me. Run to the Hills, big famous song of theirs. A lot of people like it. I don't like it that much. I'm not always into it. But it's good. It is good. But there are some moments on this album that are just amazing, such as 22 Acacia Avenue, such as The Number of the Beast, such as Hallowed Be Thy Name, which is a great closer to the album and is a classic, iconic Maiden song about mortality, about, I mean, it's about someone who's going to get, you know, hung, is going to be executed. Trying to make his peace with God and whatever, when he's so, and struggling with fear of death, and it's very much about fear of death, and it's very much also about, it's quite religious, almost Christian song, and he's saying hallowed be thy name at the end, but you're sort of wrestling with faith and wrestling with fear of death and all that. It's a very deep song, and it's a very good song. Number of the Beast, of course, the title track, about, you know, having a dream about these Satanists and about Satan, and you know, sacrificing people and Satan coming up and all that. It's about, based on a dream that Steve Harris had, probably after watching too many Hammer horror films or something. But you got 22 Acacia Avenue, of course, one of the songs about someone who's fallen in love with a prostitute. It's very Pretty Woman. It's very, you know, leave this life behind and come be with me instead, sort of thing. But the guitar solo in 22 Acacia Avenue at the end is just amazing. Prisoner, of course, great song about the TV show. Not a prisoner, I'm a free man. Children of the Damned, it's a really good song. It's just full of good songs, and it is most people's favourite Iron Maiden album for a reason, really. And it's a complete heavy metal classic. Number 23 is Metallica's Black Album, just simply called Metallica, but often known as a Black Album. Yeah, I like this album a lot. A lot of people go, oh, they're not thrash anymore, they were like watering down their sound, making it more mainstream, all of which is true, but they still come out with really good quality music. Unlike later, when they really started to suck, with Load and Reload and St. Anger and all that, this album is still really good quality Metallica music. It's just not as thrashy anymore, it's more moving towards the mainstream of heavy metal. But it's still a really good album, full of really great songs. Yeah, there's good tracks on here. It's full of good tracks. I mean, Enter Sandman, everyone knows that song. Sad But True, brilliant song. Seems to me to be about the devil and how actually the devil is us. But not everyone gets that meaning, and I don't know whether that's actually the real meaning, but that's what I get out of it. But yeah, The Unforgiven, great song about how you've always been like restricted and controlled by other people, and dying sad and bitter and stuff. Wherever I May Roam, the big kind of nomad vagabond song with a twist at the end that is after died will continue to roam as a ghost. And these are brilliant songs, and yeah, I know there's a ballad on there called Nothing Else Matters, and not everyone likes the fact that Metallica made a ballad, and this is part of their like selling out and going like mainstream, but it's a nice little track. Of Wolf and Man is a favourite of mine, about werewolves, being a werewolf and stuff, and it's a brilliant song. God That Failed, My Friend of Misery. There's just so many good songs on here, and it's brilliant. It's an actual brilliant album. Yeah, it's not the thrash sound that it started out with, but it's a really good album, full of really good music, and it is a heavy metal classic. Number 22, Motorhead's Overkill. This is my favourite Motorhead album. I don't really get into Ace of Spades that much. I love the track Ace of Spades, and I love, what's it called? We Are the Road Crew. But yeah, I don't really get into that album as much. Whereas Overkill, I love pretty much all of it. The track Overkill, really fast, like really fast drumming, and like it's really intense, fast track. You know, proto thrash, definitely. Stay Clean is a favourite track of mine. Love that song. Capricorn, the guitar sound on that is just like wow. And that's a really good track. No Class, I love that track. Damage Case, it's really good. It's full of great Motorhead songs, and it's my favourite Motorhead album, and that's why it's on the list. And then 21, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath by Black Sabbath. This is one of my favourite Black Sabbath albums. It's a very weird album in that there's a lot of keyboard. It's a kind of psychedelic metal album almost, but it's really good quality stuff. I mean, the title track, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, you've got Sabracadabra, you've got Killing Yourself to Live, which is a great track. I love the closing track, Spiral Architect, very weird and psychedelic, but I love it. This is a high quality Sabbath album, and a lot of Black Sabbath fans agree that this is a really good album. It's not their traditional doomy heavy metal sound so much. It is very weird and progressive and psychedelic sounding, bizarre in some ways, but it's a really good quality music. And yeah, I've been into this album since I was 13. It was one of my first Black Sabbath albums, so it's like an old friend almost. Related to a lot of those tracks when I was at school and dealing with the bullying from other kids and bullying from teachers as well, to be honest. And expressing a lot of that anger and stuff of that sort of thing. So a lot of these songs are meaningful in that way. And like I said, it's been with me a long time. It's like an old friend. But yeah, it's a really good quality Black Sabbath album, and I love it.